هل لك سر عند الله بينك أنت وبين الله؟ هل لك صدقات تخفى لا يعلمها إلا الله؟ هل لك سر عند الله بينك أنت وبين الله؟ هل لك صدقات تخفى لا يعلمها إلا الله.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to another edition of Know Your Charity. And today we've got the good people from Beit Amaan in studio to chat a bit more about their organization. First up, I'd like to welcome Chair on the board, Suhair Solomon. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum. Shukran for having us.
My absolute pleasure. And then Operations Manager Farid Abrams. Assalamu alaikum to you.
Salam. Shukran for having us.
My pleasure. Thanks for making the time to come and chat to us. Very important that we highlight the plight and the needs and the amazing work that an organization like Beit Amaan does. But for those that don't know too much about Beit Amaan, give us a bit of background. Where did this all start? I'm sure our viewers would love to know more.
Yeah, I think I was still wearing nappy at the time. It was in the mid-1960s when a group of people got together in Wynberg, and they realized the need for an institution for the Muslim elderly. And they started what they called the Bureau for Muslim Family Care. And the intention of that was to establish an organization that would look holistically at the social challenges in the Muslim community. And the first of that initiatives was Beit Amaan, the old age home. So they acquired a piece of land from the city, and back in the days they had fundraising, the cans that you stand in Adley Street, and they collected the money like that, rummage sales at the back of their booths, cake sales, and over a few years, more than 10 years, they raised money, and then eventually built Beit Amaan, and in 1978 they opened the doors of Beit Amaan, and the first people in were Muslim people that were in non-Muslim institutions.
I see.
And we've been going since 1978.
That's a lovely history and enough time to build up and establish an organization to where it is now as well. Now, I always knew Beit Amaan as an old age home, but you refer yourselves to as a frail care facility. When and how did that change?
Okay, so the idea was an old age home, and it operated like that for quite a while. And then back in the day, the funding model was very generous. Whatever your shortfall was, the government would make that good.
I see.
And then since the first democratic elections, the model changed a little bit, and the funding became per person, and depending on how kind of independent or dependent the person is.
Right.
And they started categorizing people in category 1, 2, and 3. And if you were like a category 1 person, you're totally independent. And they started cutting the subsidy for those type of people.
I see.
And the highest subsidy allocation were for people that were frail. And that's how, because we were so dependent on that as an income, the institution evolved into a frail care center.
And how many people can you accommodate at any one time?
We can accommodate 78 people, and we're currently around 65 because, with the COVID, we had to keep rooms open for isolation and quarantine. So we have now established our own separate quarantine area, and we are now slowly filling those extra rooms that we had.
What's a typical day like at Beit Amaan? I mean, I'm sure there must be a hyperactivity. I'm sure there must be some fun times as well. I do often follow you guys on socials and see some of the trips that you take as well.
So, showering starts early in the morning, around 5 o'clock.
Right.
There are people who want to beat the rush hour for showers, so they get up at 4 o'clock. But that's their own doing.
Right.
And then, because you're a frail care center, a lot of them need assistance, and the night shift staff help with that. And then those who are done early sit in the lounge and they get a cup of tea or coffee, whatever they desire. And 8 o'clock is formal breakfast. And then around 10, 10:30, we have tea with a snack. And then I'm just going to touch on the main meals. 12 o'clock, we have lunch. and then 2 o'clock we have another tea with snack, and then 5 o'clock is supper, and then 7 o'clock is tea and snack again.
Nice.
So on different days, in between those times, we have activities. So like on a Wednesday after Dhuhr, we have the madrasa. On a Wednesday morning, we have exercise classes. And the Monday morning, we have somebody else coming in to do some, just a little bit of fun with the residents, a little bit of madrasa, a little bit of playing games, a little bit of taking you back to your childhood days, playing, all kinds of games. So, we have all of those things throughout the week, and mostly weekends. It's when, the rush comes in, and we have ranges from dhikrs to karaoke's to, days out on the beach, and, quite a hive of activities.
And I would imagine, the utmost care is taken for our mothers and fathers that are housed. Is it primarily Muslim people that are housed, or you have non-Muslim as well?
We have a small percentage of non-Muslims, and that is governed by the Department of Social Development because we get a subsidy. But, more than 90% of our residents are Muslim.
Okay. An institution like Beit Amaan obviously needs funds, needs care, needs the expertise as well to function on a daily basis. What are some of the current projects that are on the go at the moment?
So that is a very good question. I think a facility like ours takes great care and consideration. It means that we need to keep an eye on the current functioning, but also have a view towards future.
Right.
And so part of our current ones are, of course, the routine maintenance of our facility to ensure that everything is functioning as is. We underwent a major update in our kitchen, for example, equipment. We upgraded our bathrooms. So we can really attest to the current facility being tip-top. The ones that we're looking towards in the future there are some short-term ones. We've acquired, for example, a plot next door that we would like to redevelop into a fully multi-purpose garden for our residents, one that they can work and enjoy in, but also complete some of their outdoor activities. And is there anything else?
No, that's kind of,
up to date. We're up to date, basically. The organization, well, I just want to take a step back to the food as well. I would imagine there's a lot of research that goes into the meals that are prepared and dietary requirements as well.
Yeah, so when the resident comes in, obviously part of the requirement is a full-on medical. So we have the medical history. So our basic challenge is probably diabetics. So, and we have a separate menu for them, and they kind of all sit together, and the meals are arranged according to what their specific needs are. There are few people that need soft food, so they are seen to separately. So when the person comes in, that assessment is done, and then slotted into one of the categories. There are obviously the whims and fancies of certain people. I don't like wheat bix, I want Kellogg's, and we deal with those things.
The staff complement, how many staff do you have working at the moment? Full-time, part-time? Do you have volunteers that come in?
So we have a full complement of about 50 people, but obviously 2 shifts, day shift, night shift, and seven days in the week. And we do take volunteers in. It's mostly students that come in. They do the care course, the home-based care course, and the requirement is that they have to do a certain number of hours, and they actually come and do the hours at the home. So that gives us the assistance that we actually require. From time to time.
Where are these courses? I mean, if you're somebody that would like to go into a frail care course, which institute would they go through?
So we don't recruit from one specific organization. I think it's worth looking up out there. There are quite a few available. I wouldn't want to name or promote any of them, but usually once they complete their hours, they approach us, and we're more than happy to, once they have their certification, take them on board as students to support their hours.
Right. So the medical part of, for example, caring for your patients, for the residents housed at Beit Amaan, are your staff well equipped to do that, or do you have a resident nurse or doctor on standby?
Yeah, so I think maybe if I could take a moment to share a bit about our structure. So we're governed by a body of a board, and they take care of our strategic vision thinking. That's the team group that I'm on. Operationally, we have a very accomplished senior management team. Our operations manager leads that with a matron, nursing sister.
Okay.
She has a complement of nurses, registered nurses, and then enrolled nurses, as well as oversight over our group of caregivers. We then also have, of course, our group in the kitchen, so our catering team and our general assistants. And importantly, we have a driver that assists us with all of our needs and able to safely transport our residents to hospital or clinic appointments and the like. And I think it's important to mention all of these levels that are a part of the team that provides the service at Beit Amaan. But your question around nursing staff and of course, every one of them are registered with the Nursing Council. We take that qualification, of course, very seriously, and we are also always supportive of their continuing professional development.
Okay. After the break, we chat about the pledge line that we're going to be having in Ramadan, and we encourage our viewers to be part of that, to contribute, and to ensure that a facility like Beit Amaan, goes on for years and years to come. Seeing to the needs of our mothers and fathers, and those that unfortunately can't remain with the family as well. Do join us after the break. We will give you more details on how you, our viewer, could get involved in the pledge line that we're going to be having with Beit Amaan in Ramadan. You are still watching Know Your Charity on Hilaal.
هل لك سر عند الله بينك أنت وبين الله هل لك صدقات تخفى لا يعلمها إلا الله هل لك سر عند الله بينك أنت وبين الله هل لك صدقات تخفى لا يعلمها إلا الله هل لك سر عند الله بينك أنت وبين الله هل لك صدقات تخفى لا يعلمها إلا الله هل لك سر عند الله بينك أنت وبين الله هل لك صدقات تخفى لا يعلمها إلا الله.
Assalamu alaikum. Welcome back to Know Your Charity. Thanks for joining us on Hilaal TV, channel 347. Today we've got the organization Beit Amaan in studio, based in the Wynberg area in Cape Town. It's a frail care facility catering to the needs of our senior citizens that do need the assistance. It's been around for many years, and we all know that any organization that takes and helps and sees to our mothers and fathers needs the assistance. We're going to have a pledge line on Hilaal TV, and to tell us more, we've got Chair of the Board Sahir Solomon and Operations Manager Farid Abrams. Shukran so much for coming into studio once again. Appreciate it. Tell us more about the pledge line. When will that be happening on Hilaal TV?
So we are so fortunate to have the opportunity to reach a broader audience that would like to support our work, and we're very thankful that we've been able to host that pledge line on this channel and through the support of this broadcast. So we're hosting our annual pledge line on the 17th of March. Okay. That's Sunday, between 10 and 2 p.m.
All right, so it's a Sunday morning. It's during the month of Ramadan. Basically, most people are at home during that time, not out and about as we would ordinarily do.
Yes.
So no excuse for them not to tune in. But when we look at the pledge line itself, the funds that will be raised for the organization, how will that be utilized? And do you have maybe a bigger plan going forward?
So, of course, as an NGO in this South African financial climate, we really have to think both short-term and long-term about our planning.
Okay.
So as a board and as an institution, we've taken great care and consideration to think about this strategic view. Where we are currently is a fully functional, thriving, long-term care frail center. But where we would like to be is to incorporate future opportunities for the elderly, such as a daycare center and one that can assist different levels of care, whether you're independent functioning, you needed assisted living, frail care, and potentially even palliative care.
Okay.
But that's not where we're at the moment. So this is our grand vision. And we think about care kind of as two things. I think often people think they come to us for frail care and it's just nursing, doctors, health, medical. But in reality, we're whole people. We're whole people who want to lead holistic lives. And so while we, for example, have this great partnership with a team of doctors in Kromboom Road who offer their services and care to us on a volunteer basis, we also want to enhance the medical side. We've just engaged with occupational therapists. We'd plea for physiotherapists, other allied health, social workers, etc., to consider offering their support with us to enhance the medical side. And then from the holistic side, we're also looking at how can we make the day-to-day more meaningful and consider supporting our residents towards optimizing the level of functioning and independence. And that medical and holistic is what we think contributes to a very full life for our residents while they're with us.
Of course. I would imagine, you mentioned the doctors that you have a very close relationship with as well. Are there any other medical facilities that play a pivotal role?
Yes, of course. As an NGO that's under the auspices of both the Support of Social Development and the Department of Health, we have a close relationship with our two referring facilities. That's Michaelis, the clinic, and Victoria Hospital. We're really fortunate because they give us a straight path to care for our elderly, but also, should we have any routine clinic visits or hospital visits that are required, they also take our residents in.
Okay. And for those that would like to become a resident, how does that process work? Is it, do they just apply? Do they come and speak to you guys? And then I also want to know about how, the residents that are currently there, are their families still, in touch with them? Do they come and visit? How does that work?
Okay, so when you want to be admitted to the home, there's obviously a process. So we have an application pack, and part of the pack is a medical questionnaire, and that is really just for us to assess whether we'll be able to take care of you, given your particular level of frail. And then there's a separate set of forms that they call the GQ98, which determines how dependent you actually are. And that gets done by a social worker. So that those two sets of forms then gets assessed by our matron and the nursing staff, and then the board, and then from there we decide whether we'll be able to look after the person and if the person qualifies. So the two criteria is in fact your age. You have to be 60 and older, and you have to have a certain level of frail. And so once we've done all the paperwork, we actually do a home visit.
I see.
And just to see, what is the current environment the person lives in, and, whether the person will be better off at the facility or whether the family should take care of the person. Surprisingly, sometimes where the person lives is far better than coming to the home. And, there could be that expectation to have similar standard of living, which we can't. And we have to manage all of those expectations. So, but, it is a set of forms that gets completed, assessed, and then followed up by a home visit. And then from there, we chat to the family and, see how, in fact, the most important person is the applicant and how keen the person is to actually, shift from a home environment into an institution. And we kind of prep the person on what's waiting, and we take it from there.
Just asking this question just in case I need to apply very soon.
I do think it's worth mentioning that no two residents are the same. Some of them come from really dire social circumstances. Some, the families just recognize that they don't have the expertise or skills to give their loved one the care that they need. And instead of being kind of slowly abandoned in the home place, that actually we have the resources to be able to care for them. And I would like to add on to that it is not a small task to convert all of that functioning into something that is fully operational. And that requires a lot of resources.
Of course.
So we get a contribution from social development. We receive a contribution from the resident's pension. We also end up with a great shortfall
Right.
for the operational costs of housing a resident. And that's to the sum of over 3,000 Rand per resident per month.
Gotcha.
And that is actually one of the things we would like to draw to the community's attention, that we really require some of that shortfall to be met by generous contributions. And we use the pledge line to share that information with them.
Okay. Besides the pledge line, do you do any other fundraising initiatives? Do you have people that come on board, every couple of months or maybe annually, biannually?
Okay. We don't want to be, we've got a very generous community, alhamdulillah. So we'd like to believe we're a household name in the community, and we're very appreciative of the community coming to our aid. So we get a lot of food donations. People sponsor or donate a lunch or breakfast. People donate toiletries and that. So those are the things we focus on. So when people phone in, we share our wish list with them. And we used to have, in the Muslim community, the eat and treats were very popular.
Yes.
But, no thanks to COVID, that kind of died out slowly because of the huge gatherings. And then the home had a very big, successful golf day, for a number of years. And again, when COVID came in, that also died out. And, alhamdulillah, we're making the pledge line our major fundraising initiative, and then we just have, like with Muharram and Eid al-Adha, and we have we have specific fundraising drives.
Okay, it's imperative that the residents do, are catered for and, accommodated properly as well, because like you said, with the shortfall, it can become worrying as well. How do our our viewers of Hilaal TV, how do they get involved? Not just with the pledge line, but, on a monthly, weekly basis?
So we are an NGO that has a membership. Community members can sign up to become a member, got a very small annual contribution towards that. That of course means that you get to know about our activities, and of course are always welcome. We have a really separate but generous group of volunteers who organize monthly activities for our residents and usually tie it to one of those fundraising initiatives that Farid mentioned. And those meet some of our wish list needs as well. Okay. So if you are out there, would like to get involved, please join us as a member. Please sign up to be a volunteer. And of course, if you have particular expertise and would like to give back to your community, please do reach out to us.
I think that's important. That's very important. If you'd like to mention that pledge line one more time, so that our viewers could take note and diarize and maybe contribute as well.
So the annual pledge line, which is a partnership between Hilaal TV and Beit Amaan, is taking place on the 17th of March, 2024 in Ramadan, Sunday, the 17th of March from 10 till 2.
Okay. Farid, in closing, any last words from yourself, just to maybe give our viewers a better idea on your function and the institution as well, and what a pivotal role it plays?
Sure. I actually don't know what I do on a daily basis, So, and that's, so I mentioned earlier, no two residents are the same. And for me, no 2 days are the same.
Gotcha.
So, but it's basically, interacting where I'm needed, but if there's a issue where the matron needs me, if there's an issue where the facilities manager needs me, but on a daily basis, I look at all the admin functions, the finances, paying the accounts, and interacting with the public. So and with the board.
And most importantly, that's what I was about to say. There's a very strong link between the operations manager who reports to the board, and that gives us a sense of the day-to-day needs, but also strategically what we need to meet as the board.
Suhair Solomon and Farid Abrams, shukran so much for coming into studio. Thank you for being there for our community, because we do know that it is a task and it can become challenging at times. But I think with the help with our Hilaal TV audience, we can reach that amount that we're looking for as well, inshallah. All the very best with all your future projects, and it may go from strength to strength, inshallah.
Inshallah.
That's that's a good people from Beit Amaan. Do join us for our pledge line that's going to be happening in Ramadan. And we're looking forward to all our viewers, or as many as possible, to contribute towards a facility that is really playing a pivotal role in our community. For Know Your Charity, I'm Luqman Shadrack.
هل لك سر عند الله بينك أنت وبين الله هل لك صدقات تخفى لا يعلمها إلا الله هل لك سر عند الله بينك أنت وبين الله هل لك صدقات تخفى لا يعلمها إلا الله